Hi, I'm Jones and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a high protein vegan meal prep. Now this is going to be a pretty easy meal prep and very realistic. I am making things that I make all the time and that I really enjoy, and that I literally had all these ingredients in my house already. I hadn't planned this ahead of time to go and buy groceries for it. I am just using ingredients that I had already bought that I pretty much always have in my pantry or my refrigerator. So if you're going plant-based, you need to make sure you stock up on all those good wholesome ingredients so you have them on hand. It is a good idea to have an idea of what you want to make for the week. Now I didn't plan everything out, like I'm going to eat this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday, but I just had an idea of meals that I enjoy and that I could eat for a few days in a row without getting sick of it, that I could switch up and make different things. So some of it is going to be pretty basic ingredients that I will make into something later in the week, and some of it is like a whole meal that I will be able to just heat up in the microwave or on the stove. I can add things to it if I want, but they'll be quick and easy to eat throughout the week. I'm a busy person, I work full time, so it's really great to have stuff that's made ahead of time so I can make something really quick at lunch or for breakfast, and then at dinner when I'm tired at the end of the day and don't want to put a whole lot of effort into cooking. Most of the stuff is already done for me. It's also going to be high protein because one of the biggest questions I get as a vegan is, where do you get your protein from? Well, that's easy to answer. Beans are top of my list, and things made from beans like tofu and tempeh and even soy curls, and even vegetables have protein in them. If you eat a lot of vegetables and add it up throughout the day, it's going to add a pretty good amount of protein to your diet. But I am in my 50s and I'm trying to build up some strength, build some muscle, just stay as healthy as I can. And so I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting enough protein to support all that. So that's why this is high protein. I do have other meal prep videos that actually have a full PDF with the recipes and a meal plan and all that. I will leave the links to those in the description box below if you're interested. They are completely free. So with that, let's just get started. So I'm going to start off by just steaming some potatoes in the Instant Pot. I have thoroughly washed my potatoes, and they actually had started growing some eyes on them, so I cut the little eyes off. Sorry, potatoes. So I have a little steamer basket, and I'm just going to pop that into the Instant Pot, throw my potatoes in there, and I'm just going to add some water for the steam. Make sure the lid's on tight, and then I put it on the steam. It just shows up 10 minutes, and that's pretty much what I want. So it's just gonna start and do its thing while we do the rest of our meal prep. So I've got my cubes of tofu here. They're a little wet, which is why we need to press them to get some of the moisture out. At least for the air frying part. You don't necessarily need to press it for tofu scramble. You can see I wrapped it in paper towels first, and then I like to take that and wrap it in a cloth, a nice clean dishcloth. But the paper towel, I don't know, it's kind of a barrier between the tofu and the cloth in case there's anything on there. And I just set that on a plate. And then you put something heavy on it. I like to put a cast iron pan. I've seen people use books, but that seems crazy to me because your books are gonna get all wet. So I'm just gonna set this aside for now. Now we're gonna move on to prepping our tempeh. I was gonna do just one, but I decided to do two because I'm always running out and then I just have to make more. So I'm using a bigger container than I usually do. And I got these at Trader Joe's. They seem to be the best price for tempeh. Now this recipe is from Sweet Potato Soul, and I pretty much have it memorized. I kind of do my own thing most of the time, but for the sake of this video, I'm gonna follow the recipe that is in the book. It is her first book, Sweet Potato Soul. I know she has come out with, or is about to come out with, a new one, which I'm excited about because I really love this cookbook. So it calls for a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. I don't have high blood pressure, but there are people in my household who do, so I have started using low sodium when I can. So we've got a 1/4 cup of tamari, a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. I keep mine in this cute little bottle. I have a bigger bottle in the fridge, but I always pour some into this little bottle because that way I can kind of store the bigger bottle in the back of the fridge. And then this one is really nice and handy when I need it. I had just about enough in there. The next ingredient is 2 tablespoons of grapeseed or olive oil, which you can put in there. I'm gonna skip it this time. I'm trying to be as oil-free as possible, and I always end up putting a little bit on the pan if I'm cooking it in the pan later. I have been air frying it, and that requires 0 oil, so I'm just gonna skip the oil. So we've got 1 tablespoon of liquid smoke, which for me, that's a lot. I don't really love the taste of liquid smoke, so I just put a nice little amount in there. And then we have 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. I'm almost out, but I will get some more at my local natural food store where my daughter happens to work. They have all the spices in bulk, and I love getting my spices there. Cuts down on waste, and I can get as much as I want, and it is a lot less expensive than buying it in the bottles. So we're just gonna mix this up. Now this is great as a replacement for bacon in the morning or on a BLT. So this is 2.5 servings. 1 serving is 150 calories. If you ate the whole package, it's 420 calories. And 16 grams of protein per serving. If you ate the whole package, you'd be getting 45 grams or 48 grams of protein. That's a lot. So basically 1/3 of this package is about a serving, and I will typically eat that, sometimes a little bit more, so that's quite a bit of protein. And all we have to do is just cut this into little slices. You can make it as thin or as thick as you like. I used to steam it first, which does help it sort of absorb more of the flavors, and if you think it has a slightly bitter taste that you don't like, steaming will help get rid of some of that, but it really doesn't bother me. So I haven't been bothering with steaming it lately. We'll just shake that up, get the marinade all over that tempeh. Hopefully your container doesn't leak when you do this, but this one's holding up pretty good. So you can see all the tempeh is coated, and I'll give it a shake before I use it to make sure that all the tempeh is covered with the marinade. And I'm just gonna stick this in the refrigerator. Like I said, when I'm ready to eat it, I will just put it in the air fryer for 5 to 7 minutes, depending on how good your air fryer is, or you can fry them in a pan with a little bit of oil. Either way, they're great for part of your breakfast meal, or as a sandwich, or just as a snack. Yum. So now we're going to make our chickpea salad, which I love in sandwiches, especially with my homemade sourdough bread that I have been perfecting, or as a lettuce wrap, which is how I think I'm gonna eat it today because I'm getting hungry, and so I'm gonna make this and then eat a little bit of it. So we just want a can of chickpeas. If you want to make an extra big batch, of course you could use 2 cans. I like to save the juice, the aquafaba, for other things. I don't use it a whole lot, but it's good to know that it's there if I need it. So I'm just going to put those into a bowl, and I'm going to smash those up with potato masher. If you don't have a potato masher, you can use a fork. It'll probably just take a little bit longer. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you still have some whole chickpeas in there, that is just fine. Then I have a whole lot of beautiful vegetables here. So I've got some celery, I've got some carrots, I've got some green onions or scallions, which were in my fridge and really needed to get used up. And I've also got some radishes, just a few. These were also in my fridge. I like to put them in salads, and I thought they'd be a really nice addition to the chickpea salad. Now the celery and the carrots, I'm gonna chop it all up now, but not all of this is going in the chickpea salad. Some of it is going to go in the soup for later. I'm using the same vegetables for the salad and the soup. I'm going to add some other things to the soup as well, but I'm just going to make it easy and chop it all up at once. I'm not going to put the tops in the chickpea salad, but I will save them to use in the soup because they tend to be pretty chewy, and the soup will soften them up a little bit, and they're just fine for that type of thing. So I'm just going to put about half of this into the chickpea salad, maybe a little less than half. I'll save the rest of that for the soup. And I like my pieces of carrot to be pretty small in the salad. With the soup, it doesn't matter as much to me, but for the salad, I do like the pieces to be small. So I'm going to cut these in half. Now I'm going to add some capers to give it a little bit of tang. I love capers, sort of a little pickled element in there. Okay, now I am going to use some vegan mayo. You can use whatever brand you want. This is from my local Kroger King Superstore. And I'm going to use some stoneground mustard. You could use Dijon or you could use yellow mustard, whatever floats your boat. I like a lot of mustard. I'm also going to add a little bit of rice vinegar to, again, give it a little tang, a little acidity. And I'm going to do just a little salt and pepper. You can do this to taste, add more or less, or you can just leave it out if you want. I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric just for good measure, along with the black pepper. It's really good for relieving inflammation, and it gives it a little bit of color. And I'm also going to put some garlic powder in there. Really, you could put any kind of seasonings you want. Some people like to put Old Bay seasoning in to give it more of, I guess, a fishy flavor. It doesn't really have any fish flavor, but it's seasonings that people associate with seafood. I mean, to me, it's not tuna salad, it's not egg salad, it's just chickpea salad. It just is what it is, and it's delicious. So I'll give it a little taste and see if it needs anything else. That is delicious. It doesn't need anything else. I'm gonna eat some right now with some lettuce leaves. I'm down to the inner part of my lettuce, so my lettuce leaves are a little bit small, but just put some in there and just wrap it up. Could add a little paprika or some cayenne in there. I might do that, but it's pretty good as it is, so. That is delicious. Okay, so just a little progress report. Our potatoes are all done. They're nice and steamy, and I'll just let those cool off, and then those are just gonna go into the refrigerator to use for later. And our tofu is done pressing. And these paper towels don't go to waste. I let them dry out and then I use them later to wipe up messes. So these ones are gonna get cubed. We're gonna put them in some cornstarch and we're gonna bake those in the oven. Gonna put a couple of tablespoons worth, I'm not measuring it out, I'm just gonna throw some on there, of cornstarch, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of salt and then just give that a toss. You could put other seasonings on there if you want, or some nutritional yeast. In fact, I think I will put a little bit of nutritional yeast on there. Why not? I don't usually do that, but I put nutritional yeast on just about everything, so why not the tofu? That is going to go on a baking sheet, and normally I would put these in the air fryer. If I was just making this by itself, I would use the air fryer, but I have the oven on to make a sweet treat that I'm going to show you next. So I thought might as well just save some energy and bake them in the oven. If I was using the air fryer, I also would not use any oil, but since we're baking it in the oven, I'm gonna just spray a little bit of oil on it to make sure it gets nice and crispy. So now I'm going to make the soup, and I'm starting by putting some vegetable broth in the pan. I have the heat on, just a little bit for now. I'm using this instead of oil because I'm trying to do this oil free. And I've got some onion that I chopped up off camera. Hopefully you know how to dice onion. And also plenty of garlic. This is about 3 large cloves of garlic diced pretty finely. If you haven't tried this method before, either vegetable broth or water is perfectly good for sort of sauteing your veggies in, especially your onion and your garlic. The broth just absorbs all that flavor and you don't have to use oil. So you can see that the onion and garlic is getting cooked down a little bit now, and the broth is boiling, so I'm just going to add those carrots and celery that we chopped up earlier. Get those all mixed in with the broth. Let that cook down a little bit more. Might add a little more broth. And I'm also going to add some mushrooms. Some of these are going to go into the tofu scramble, so I'm not putting all of it in here right now. So just to show you, I have some hot water going that I'm going to be cooking some pasta in, because this is going to be a chicken noodle type of soup, of course with lots of veggies. Okay, now that's going pretty good. I am going to add some chickpeas. And then I am also going to add some soy curls. This will give it sort of a chickeny type texture. I'm also going to add one of these not chicken bouillon cubes. Actually, I'll probably add 2 just to give it a real boost of flavor. Going to add some more broth, as well as some water. So we have lots of soup. And our soup is looking really good over here. I've got the pasta cooking, but I'm not going to be adding that just yet. But I do want to add some spinach. I have a nice big handful of spinach because it's going to wilt down to next to nothing, but I do like to add some extra veggies in there. I also have some frozen peas that I'm going to throw in there. Extra protein, extra nutrients, and hey, why not? Oops, a lot of ice in that one. And really this just needs to cook down just a little bit to wilt the spinach and unfreeze the peas. And so it's pretty much done. I'll probably have this for dinner tonight. I'll add some of the pasta to it. Yeah, for now it's done. So this is going to be for the tofu scramble. I forgot to save some of that onion that I had chopped for the soup. But that's okay. I'm gonna be adding salsa to this. It's gonna be sort of a Mexican or Southwestern inspired tofu scramble, which is a little different from what I usually make. The tofu scramble I normally make is a little more of like an Asian inspired flavor, and I do have a video for that one. I will link that one down below. It's really my go-to recipe, but I had some ingredients I wanted to use up, and I was planning on maybe making some breakfast burritos this week, so I just wanted to make it a little more sort of Mexican style. So I'm cutting up some bell pepper. I had this half of the red one in the fridge. You can see that I've put some water in the pan. We're going to water saute the onions and the garlic. And let that saute down just a little bit. Our onions and garlic are looking good, so I'm going to add the bell peppers and the mushrooms. So at this point I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper just to season the veggies. I don't want them to get too cooked down. I like to have still a little bit of crispness and freshness to my veggies. Now I'm going to add my tofu. Like I said, it doesn't need to be pressed because obviously we've got some liquid in there, but it'll all cook down. I'm also going to add some nutritional yeast and some taco mix. Also put a little more turmeric in for some color and for its anti-inflammatory properties. And then the last ingredient I'm going to put in is some salsa. This one's a hot one. If you prefer mild, go for the mild, but I like some spice. The taco seasoning probably had some chili powder in it, but I don't think it's very hot, so this will definitely add some spice to this. And in the meantime, our tofu is all baked and ready, and doesn't that look delicious and beautiful? They're really nice and crispy. I actually kind of forgot about them because I forgot to set a timer, but that's great. We love it nice and crispy. So I hope you enjoyed this meal prep. All of these things are super delicious and really easy to make, and even if you don't do all of them all at once, I hope you at least try one or two, and it will certainly make the rest of your week a little easier if you've already prepared some stuff on the weekend or whatever day you have a little extra time. These are all super nutritious and full of protein, and I can't wait to eat all of these things. In fact, I'm really hungry right now, so I'm gonna dig into this soup as soon as I'm done filming here. And if you like this, remember that I have a couple other meal prep videos that have PDFs with all the information you could possibly want, and those will be linked in the description box down below. And if you liked it, of course, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate your support. Let me know in the comments if you like this type of video, if you want me to keep making these types of videos. They are quite a bit of work. It wouldn't take that much time to just make this stuff, but when you're trying to film at the same time, it does take some effort. So I really appreciate your feedback so that I know I am creating things that you want to see. So for now, peace out, and I will see you in the next video.